I want to talk about a couple of things today, briefly. First of all, I want to draw people's attention to a person called Liam Sheff. He's on UCY TV radio. He has a program, Liam Sheff. What a fabulous dissertation. He kind of runs through things when he talks about stuff, and he's been recently posting videos on the vaccination fiasco issue, nailing it. And Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who was vilified for bringing out facts on the MMR, mumps, measles, rubella vaccination. Now, Wakefield still has the door open towards the idea that vaccinations are actually a good idea in some cases. Listen to Sheff. He unloads this, and I've been in contact with a fellow called John Wantling who's done a lot of research on infectious disease, which is a theory. It's a theory that the religion of science has propagated in order to make huge profits with their vaccinations and their pills and their medicines and all that stuff. So I want to just draw attention to Liam Sheff. I really like listening to him, and I'll put a link underneath. And the second topic I'm just going to address is another icon has apparently disappeared off the planet. And the guy's name was Prince. Now here is my position in terms of art and culture. Culture promotes these people for a good reason. And the complacency amongst what I find with the issue of Fukushima not being addressed by authority, by the culture needs to address epic situations such as Fukushima, or the medical catastrophes in terms of vaccinations, the abuse of children. This is a large cultural issue. And why do these issues get brushed under the carpet, are forgotten? Because there is a fundamental complacency that is endorsed by this culture, what I call the culture of death, who promote people like Prince or Bowie or the Rolling Stones and the Flintstones, whatever. This is a fundamental problem. The complacency that is endorsed in the music of these people. This is my position. Because, not that the music may not be of value in terms of you get your enjoyment out of it, but it creates a complacency, people. It creates a complacency. It makes you feel good for a minute. It's like a hit. These Prince types and Bowies give us a quick hit. To what end? Where does it go? And I'm not going to get into an elaborate discussion about how artists are, they shouldn't really have to care about the rest of the world. They're just in their own little bubble and worlds. Yeah, they live in their bubble worlds, in their bunkers, in their million-dollar bunkers once they get promoted. And the hardcore volunteers, as Dave Hickey calls them, the artists, they're not paid any attention to because this culture is not interested in pushing forward with the issues that need to come out. This is the nature of art. Art is a contrarian activity. It's not something that makes you feel like somebody that I've distanced myself from as well, who was a big influence on my work, was Matisse, who said art is like a wonderful armchair that you lie back in. I beg to differ. We're no longer in an age where we have the luxury just to lie back and soak in the sun on the beach, having pina coladas, like the art is becoming, like Prince art is pina coladas. And he was one of these clowns. I mean, you look at the guy, he creeps me out just like Bowie, the way he comes off, this whole persona. He is one of the clowns in the circus called the culture of death. And all the sycophants, this really disturbs me, all the sycophants coming out and praising this person, and you know better. What's he done? All right, so you can argue that somebody like this creates a musical, a musical style of some kind, which is quirky and idiosyncratic, and it may fit into the history of music from roots to jazz to blues to punk to whatever you want. Fine, these people are all influenced. They all take their stuff from somewhere. They're not original in that sense. They're not. They pull stuff out of whatever. And that's fine. That's okay. but it needs to be tied into this bigger picture. The bigger picture. And the bigger picture isn't just making another cute song and having a few good licks on your guitar. There is a lot more to it than that. If I say, my position, if you want to lie down and die, fine. But if you actually want this experience to continue, this experience we call life, if it should continue, if there is a reason to continue, we need to challenge. Especially now, we need to challenge ourselves. We need to challenge and not be pulled back into this armchair of complacency and this self-gratifying feeling that we get. We listen to something wonderful. It's like if I look at a painting, I enjoy, there is a gratification in looking at something, but I'm much more excited to hear from an artist something I've never heard before that challenges my own worldview, how I feel about the world. And I'll tell you, this Prince creeped me out. He was like in some sort of, presented his, I've seen a few videos, he presented himself in this sort of dark light, always this dark blue, purple rain, this kind of persona that was always in the shadows and the darkness, the heavy makeup. It's like almost operatic, actually. It was quite amazing, the spectacle connected to this. All right, this is getting longer. And here's my reflection. The sycophants are going to come out, and people, the dupes that are so attached, their hearts are broken. This person didn't care for anybody. He cared for himself and to propagate his own kind of stuff. He never came out on any major issue. There was a little reference to chemtrails, but it was an aberration. It wasn't his fight. He didn't fight to end chemtrails. He just said, oh, yeah, I look up there, chemtrails up there. Oh, but then if people say, well, he doesn't have to say anything because he makes brilliant music. Brilliant. It's brilliant art. Well, go ahead and do your brilliant art, but you're not relevant. You're not relevant to the nature of our being, which is our survival. That's my position. That's what I think, and not to challenge ourselves. And here's the point today. A queen is born, a prince dies. Or a queen has a birthday and a prince dies. Here's my point. That what I've been saying in my YouTubes and my presentations, or especially over the last year, is that the information is there. We all know. Even the facts are pretty clear now. The facts are clear. It's not just information. Like I have very little regard to information. But the facts are much more clear now. What is going on? Just because they're being ignored. And it's not making much of a difference. It really isn't. If you look at all the alternative media, which is primarily useless, like 99% of postings on YouTube is just a regurgitation and more information. It's like what I said. It's putting a ton of sugar on a sweet experience. You can only get so sweet with a certain amount of sugar. After that, it's obscene. And that's the information. So what is it that I understand needs to happen? And I refer to myself and people that I know that make a difference to me. There has been epiphanies and changes in their lives. Now, it's not the changes in our life isn't because we have the facts or the information. No. The way it works is that we have a leap. We take a step. We make a leap. In a sense, it's a leap of faith. And I'm not big on faith because faith is sort of, it structures itself around culture. Faith is very much tied into this idea of culture and what I now perceive as the culture of death. And religion is like the jewel in the crown in the culture of death. And so, but as a metaphor, a leap of faith, it means that we trust ourselves enough to change something in our lives that'll make a difference, personally. And what will make a huge difference, and this is my final appeal in this leap of faith, we need a leap of faith, that we don't focus, I don't focus on fixing the epic problem, but in recognizing the very essence and nature of the problem that we're in. It's just a question of admitting. This leap now is an admittance, is to admit that this is a problem. And then we'll see where that takes us. We'll see where that takes us. But until there is this leap of faith into the acceptance, that critical moment of acceptance where we say, this is important, this is important, that's what's required. And as much as information you want to throw at this, it's going to be ridiculous, and it's putting more sugar on a sweet experience. It doesn't make any difference. What will make a difference is this leap. We need to make that leap, each individual one of us. And it doesn't mean it's the same for every person. It'll be different for every person. Whatever they decide to do with that recognition and understanding. And things would change. I'm convinced that with this, it's always like that. If, you know, the oligarchs have managed to filter their messages into people's brains, and then it's sort of like infectious disease. The idea that all of a sudden somebody comes up and says, oh, some ugly little thing from outside comes into us and infects us and we die. Yeah, it's a theory. It's a theory. Just like NASA with all their theories, or the science, the astronomy, the black holes, and all this garbage, and big bangs and little bangs and medium bangs, and these are all theories. But people have taken that leap of faith into something that is just totally theoretical with no factual evidence whatsoever. So why can't we do it with something like Fukushima, where we say, okay, I've heard about it, I've got all the information. How about taking a leap of faith on Fukushima, like everybody takes a leap of faith on behalf of the religion of science and their black holes and their vaccinations and their stupid solutions to that are creating more and more problems? How about a leap of faith on behalf of life? It's my thought. And you sycophants for these meaningless icons like Prince or Bowie, and they don't care about anything. They're just selfish. And the complacency on the young people that listen to this and think they're getting something. It's a minimal rush. And these are clever, seductive people that have understood how to seduce a population and keep them in the same place. We need a leap of faith. God, we do. Big time.